If I gave you my heart, would you feed me rose-thorn insults that cut deep into the pit of my stomach lining, like barbed wire stinging like fire? Would you tie me up in ribbons of derision that would cloud my eyes, distorting my vision? This spider's web of frayed emotion has me tangled. The strands keep getting pulled like a jumper that is now more string than clothing. The jagged, mangled shards of this ice-cold, broken heart lay over the ground, tempting me to try to put the pieces back together, like a jigsaw, only much messier. As the ice thaws, blood still pours and pain erupts like volcanic dust. Emotions turned on and off like a tap. But now the valve has snapped, yet they keep pouring, the room filling, flooding, swamped in the morning of the last dawn chorus, mourning as the birds take to wing. The feathery choir sing one last song for us. On the periphery, over the river and far away, through green fields, forests and towns, over the villages, across the downs. That's where I need to be. A solitary house. That's me. I sit on the hillside, not in the crowds, not like the mansion sat high in the clouds. I'm the house that keeps its shutters down. Silently. Quiet reflection washes over me. This is where I need to be. Away from the bustle, the toil and hustle, the noise and the grind, the strain that confines and crowds my mind. Beyond the boundaries, distant from castle walls, outside, over the moat and far away, near the aching sea, its tearful waves stretching, pulling away from me. Just a rambler with no land to let his legs walk free, somewhere on the periphery. The stone statue looked longingly over at the faded tomb of her long-lost lover. Alone. Forever she would stand, watching, waiting, forever. A stony vigil, no clocks ticking, a solitary tear eternally sculpted to sombre ashen face, weathered, so the tear is mostly faded, her features long ago degraded, but her heart never left the place she stood and waited. A nocturnal wonderland, which so many fear or misunderstand, where light has ceased, night offers a feast for the beings too timid to walk busy, crowded streets. I step through the wall of ink into the chasm of night. I let my eyes adjust, I let my mind slowly think. I regain my sight. And to this palace of solitude I give my trust. An animal, nocturnal, the howls growing internal, hunger starts to rise. I need to feed on inspiration, stories and mythical rides. I see with night vision eyes, keeping vigil over the night, watching the shadows, I in the gloom, just me and the lonesome moon. The wet, whistling wind tore through the air, screaming, "No more." It said no more to all the hate, to all the tears laid in its wake. It ripped up trees and smashed down fences, said no more to these man-made defences. No more, the wild wind screamed in pain. All the tears it had seen, all the rage spent in vain, all the anger and ferocity of these human beasts. It said, no more. No more to the way they hurt the land, how they desert their fellow man, the way they treat animals with disdain. No more, it said, bringing the rain. The wind let loose its power, turned the waters to blood and let the fruits turn sour. It said, no more. No more to the constant noise, the bloodshed on its lands, the air tainted with lead, polluted rivers running red. These humans need to be sown the seeds of the torment they cause, thrown in a cell without any doors. I may sometimes seem like I'm gazing off into outer space, like I'm not interested, but my mind sometimes swirls all over the place, glazing over. It listens, taking in what you are saying, but it's like a part of me is sat elsewhere playing. It knows it should focus, take root, be grounded, but it's also slightly dumbfounded that we are not all living up in the stars. Instead, we spend more time stuck watching traffic from unmoving cars, or in crowded bars watching life flow away. My mind sometimes wonders, when it's flittering through my internal filing, it may leave my body idling, stuttering and jittering, but my ears still hear, my mind flutters like a butterfly flittering, trying to escape from the net of fear, but it knows to take in every word I swear. It's a little frayed and confused at times. It's like it's barely been used. Others, it's on a slowdown, just trying to keep itself amused. My mind sometimes doesn't make sense, but it takes in whole universes that always keep me amazed, whilst I stand all dazed by a world that I don't always feel I belong in, where sometimes the feeling of longing is too much to take. Sometimes my mind will pick me up and put me someplace safe. When does forever start? I'm calling out, yelling for that perfect moment when love walks in from the dark. When does eternity begin? Will it be marked by an alarm bell ring or a song that a choir will sing? Will I even know it's here? When will all time get here? I've been waiting for many a year, continually waiting, repeatedly hoping and praying, endlessly debating, perpetually consternating. When is evermore going to pass through my door? Is it a few days, weeks, or more? If so, I'll just sit, wait, and write for a bit. I have no problem passing the time. The ghost ship sails upon the waves forevermore. She follows the currents, avoiding the shores. Her crew, long since departed to far-flung mystic harbours. Now the ghost ship just rises and falls, with each ripple of the sea, listening to the seagulls' distant calls, floating forevermore into eternity. Glitter shines on frost-tickled tarmac, ungritted lines of ice raven black, unwritten lines, my mind's new soundtrack. Dancing sprinkles dazzle as I travel under the silver moon's beaming stage light. Invigorate the eyes, I delight in the sight, the dusting of magic on this cold winter night. I awoke to find my heartstrings playing a symphony, an orchestral piece with a joyous melody. A lump in my throat. I choke at the thought, the delicious implausibility of someone so special as thee being even slightly interested in me. I smile, a big grin that paints images over everything. It shows rainbows and hearts, unicorns and fine arts, and my beating vessel stops and starts. Palpitations, palpable parables of apprehension, but there is no tension. This is just happiness beating a rhythm inside, and the grin is painted on, big and wide. I love, it's the only thing that in this crazy world makes any sense. It invents reasons to wake, reasons to laugh, reasons to find a moment to cry, a moment to let happy tears well up inside. Even on those days when your brain feels frazzled and fried.